Now we're going to talk about if statements. So an if statement is that you execute an action, but only if something specific occurred. And so this is when you want to do some things that are based on condition. So if a certain condition happens, for example, then you want to do a specific action, but otherwise you don't want to do anything. So let me just show you the general structure of an if statement, and then we'll really go through it in detail. So I type in the keyword if, and you can see it turns blue in my coding environment. And then I write if condition, and then I have the colon here, and then I go and I'm indented, and this indicates that I'm inside this if statement, and then I do an action. And so the format really is, it's the if keyword. This indicates that I'm going to have an if statement here, and then there's a condition, and if this condition is true, then, and then I indicate that I'm going to start my if statement by the colon, then I'm going to perform an action. But I'm only going to perform this action if the condition is true. So let's leave this commented out here, and let's see a nice practical example of this. So let's say we're running Facebook, and we want to see if someone clicked the like button, we want to add a like to our counter. So we're going to create a variable first, and this variable we're going to call click. And we're just going to start it off and give it the value false. And so in Python and in a lot of programming languages, you can have true or false values. These are called Boolean values. And it's really just like, I could also type in, for example, 0 or 1 or, whatever numbers I choose to have represented true or false. But it's nice convention to kind of use true and false because it gives you a nice oversight. So click can only have the values, or I'm going to choose that click can only have the values true or false. So either someone clicked, then it's true, or someone didn't click, then it's false. So we're going to start off with that nothing has been clicked, so click is false. And then we're going to have our like counter, or we'll just actually leave it as like. And right now our like counter starts at 0, so we have no likes. Oh well, that's going to change in a second. And so we're going to write an if statement now. So we're going to write if someone clicks, then we'll increment the like counter by 1, so then we get a like. So how does this look? Well, we'll write if click is equal to true, and now, so we start with the if statement, and then we have our variable here, so if click, so if something happens with click, well, what happens? Now, this symbol here is a double equals, and so here we have equals, which is an assignment. So here, for example, we assign the value false to the variable click. Here, we assign the value 0 to the variable like. Here, with the double equals, we check if they're equal. So this is a kind of a check for equality. Is the value of click true? And if the value of click is true, then we do the following. So this is no longer assigning click the value true. This is checking if click and true are the same value. So is the value of click true? And so this is a very important thing to note, that if you're assigning values, so if I want to say the value of click is false, then I put 1 equals. But if I want to check if the values are the same, I have to put in a double equals sign. So we'll check if click is true, then we'll have our like, and our like is going to be what equal to whatever our like is right now, plus 1. So what are we doing? We're adding a like to our like counter. Okay, and so afterwards, let's print how many likes we have. Now, there is probably one more thing that we should consider. If someone clicked our like button and we give ourselves a like, then after that, we should probably make click be false again so that we don't get infinite likes. Although that would also be nice to have. But let's just also add the extra action that after we increase our likes by 1, we turn click to false again, so that the next time we get a like, we have to make sure that someone clicks again. So let's kind of add the action here. So we start off with click is false, and we start off with no likes. Now let's make click true, and then let's run our code, and let's see us get a like. So we run our code, and we print how many likes we have, and we have 1 like. And so the reason that happened is because, well, we started with 0 likes, and now we made click true, so someone clicked. And now, if click is true, so if the value of click is equal to the value true, so click has the value true, so true is true. Yes, that's correct. So this statement is true, and then we do this if statement. So we change like to be equal to like plus 1, so we give ourselves 1 like, and then we make click false again. So this is kind of a very simplistic version of it, but it covers some really important points of, incrementing and also resetting values. But let's take another example. So you obviously can't just check for equality. What if you want to check for if something is greater than, or something is less than, or greater than equal to, or less than equal to, or all these other checks. So let's check. Let's create a new variable, and we'll call this variable temperature. And we'll make it equal to 20 first. So we're going to be dealing in degrees Celsius, just so that there's no confusion. But it doesn't really matter. It just, it may make a little bit more sense if you know this for the next part of the code. But let's just say right now our temperature is about 20 degrees Celsius. And then let's have a value on our thermostat. So we'll just call it thermal for short. And our thermal value is going to be at, well, let's say we want our thermostat to be at 15 degrees right now. So let's make the function. Let's say if our temperature is less than 15 degrees, then we want to turn up the thermostat. And let's increase the value of the thermostat by 5 degrees. So what are we doing? Well, we have our temperature variable, which is equal to 20, and we have our thermometer, or thermostat variable, which has the value 15. And now we're checking through using the if keyword. So we started an if statement. If the temperature is less than 15 degrees, so if this is true, then do the following, and that we indicate by the colons here. Then our thermostat value is equal to the current thermostat value, but we add 5 to it. So this pretty much means we increase the value of our thermostat by 5. So let's print out the thermostat value just to kind of see afterwards. Now, right now we're starting at a temperature of 20 degrees, so this shouldn't be happening. Actually, let's also print out our thermostat value before, just so that we kind of get a better oversight. And so we're going to just comment out this so that we don't see the output here anymore, and that all the output we see is from the second if statement. So let's just run our code and then go through what happens. So right now we get 15, which is the value of the thermostat here, and then we reach the if statement. Now if temperature is less than 15 degrees, well, what is the value of temperature? Well, temperature right now has the value 20. So if 20 is less than 15, well, hold on a minute. 20 is not less than 15. Well, that means we ignore everything in this if statement, so everything that's indented. All of this we skip. And now all we do is we just print thermal again. And so nothing really happened. We checked if 20 is less than 15, or if the temperature is less than 15. It's not. And so we skip all of this, and then we just print the value of the thermostat again. So the value of the thermostat didn't change. But now, let's change our temperature value to 14 degrees and see what happens now. So now, our temperature is 14 degrees, and our thermostat value is initially 15, and we print the value of the thermostat, which is initially 15, as we can see here, and now we check again. If the temperature is less than 15, so what's the value of the temperature? Well, the value of the temperature is 14, so if 14 is less than 15, okay, so 14 is less than 15, so this is true. Then we do the following. Then we do all the indented stuff here. Well, we only have one line of indented code, but we're still going to execute it. So we're going to have our thermostat value, and we're going to have it be equal to the current value plus 5. So we're going to add 5 to our thermostat value, and then we're going to print the thermostat value again. And so now we print 20, because we added 5 to our value of 15 already here. Now, what happens if the temperature is 15? Well, if the temperature is 15, it's going to print 15 and 15. And that's because if we go into this if statement, then temperature is equal to 15, and 15 is not less than 15. So we're not going to increment the thermostat. But what if we want to increment the thermostat exactly at 15 and below 15? Well, there's a nice way to do that too. We can do is less than or equal to. Is the temperature less than or equal to 15? If it is, then we increment the value of the thermostat. So let's check again. Is the temperature is 15 right now, and then the thermostat value is 15 right now, so we print the thermostat value. Now, if temperature, which is 15, if 15 is less than or equal to 15, well, 15 is equal to 15, then we do this because this is true. 15 is less than or equal to 15, then we increment our thermostat value by 5. And now, the syntax here is important. So it's important that the equal sign follows the less than sign. Because if I do it the other way around, like this, it's going to give me an error. And so the order is actually important. So it's less than or equal to. But these are just kind of things that that you will get used to. So don't really worry about that. And don't worry, the program will also tell you exactly what went wrong. For example, here, it nicely points at the equal sign. And so it tells me that my syntax is wrong. So now I know that I should put the equal sign after the less than sign. Yeah, so don't worry if you get errors like this. It happens to everyone, but you learn from it, and then, you'll get used to it. So this is just kind of one of those syntax things. All right. So now we can increment the value of our thermostat by 5. Well, let's instead try to see, well, what if our temperature is too hot? Then we want to turn down the thermostat even more. So if our temperature is greater than or equal to 20, then let's turn down the thermostat by, let's say, 3 degrees. And then let's print the value of the thermostat again. So now we're checking with the if keyword. We've created a new if statement. So if the temperature is greater than or equal to 20, then, so if this condition is true, then we have our thermostat value be equal to the current thermostat value minus 3. So we reduce the value of the thermostat by 3. So let's change our temperature to be equal to 20, and let's see what happens. So we're actually going to run through 2 if statements here, which is nice, so we can follow both of them. So we start off, and we print the value of the thermostat, which is 15. And now we go to our first if statement. If temperature is less than or equal to 15, okay, what's the value of temperature? The value of temperature is 20. So if 20 is less than or equal to 15, well, hold on a minute, that's not true. So we're not going to do any of that because 20 is not less than or equal to 15. So we skip this, so we go on to the next part. So the next part that's not indented is the print thermostat value. And so we print it again, and so we get 15. And now we go to our next if statement. If temperature is greater or equal to 20, well, what's the value of temperature? The value of temperature is 20. So if 20 is greater than or equal to 20, then our current thermostat value, or our new thermostat value, is equal to the current thermostat value minus 3. So we turn down the thermostat by 3, and then we print it. And so 15 minus 3 is 12, and then we print the value of the thermostat, which is 12, and then we get 12 here. And once again, you should kind of note that the greater than sign also comes before the equal. So if I flip this around, I'm going to get another error. So these are just kind of small things that you should kind of keep in mind, or at least be aware of. Even if you forget, then if the error happens, then you kind of know what happens, and you're like, I remember the greater than or the less than sign should come before the equal sign. Okay, so let's go through some different examples now that maybe don't have something to do with numbers, but maybe they have something to do with words. So let's check for words, for example. So we're going to have a time variable, and we're going to give this time variable day. So it's going to be daytime. And let's also create a variable called sleepy. So are we sleepy? Well, let's say it's daytime and we're not sleepy, so sleepy is false. Now let's write a function that checks if it's nighttime and if we're sleepy, let's put on pajamas. So let's create another variable called pajamas, but let's not give it a Boolean value of true or false. Let's give it a word value. So right now we're going to give it the value off. So pajamas are off right now, so we're not wearing pajamas. So we're going to write a function now that checks if it's nighttime and we're sleepy, then we're going to put on pajamas. So using the if keyword, we check if time is equal, so two equal signs here, because we're not assigning a value to time, we're checking if it's equal. So if time is equal to night, and now we can actually check for several statements using the and keyword. So we'll go through this again in some detail, don't worry. If sleepy is equal to, double equal to, true, then pajamas is equal to, and only single equal sign because now we're changing the value of pajamas, on. So let's go through this again. So if keyword to indicate we're doing a statement, if time is night, so if the value of time is equal to the value night, so this is why we have the double equal sign here, and now this and keyword allows us to add extra conditions. So the and keyword allows us to add extra conditions so that both of these have to be true. So if time is night but sleepy isn't true, then this whole thing isn't true. So we really need to have time is night, and we also need to be sleepy. So sleepy has to be equal to the value true. Then, only then do we put on pajamas. So let's just kind of print the value of pajamas, and let's go through several different scenarios to really get a good feel about what this and thing here does. So let's run it. Actually, let's also comment out these print variables of the thermostat for next time at least. And then let's run it again so that we get rid of this 15, 15, and 12. So right now, we're printing the value of off for pajamas. So what happens? Well, time is day, and sleepy is false, and pajamas is off. So if time is equal to night, well, the value of time is day, so day is not equal to night. And is sleepy equal to true? Well, sleepy is false, so false is not equal to true. So we have a false here, and we have a false here. So this is just false. So this condition is not true, so we don't do the indented part here. And we move on to the next non-indented part, which is printing the pajamas. So the current value of pajamas is off, because we never executed this code here. Now, let's make it nighttime, but let's not be sleepy yet. Let's see what happens. Well, our value of pajamas is still off, so let's see why. Well, if time is equal to night, which it is, and sleepy is equal to true, well, sleepy is false, so false is not equal to true. So time is equal to night, but sleepy is not true. So this whole thing still isn't true. So we still don't put on our pajamas, and our pajamas here are still off. Now, let's get sleepy though. Let's make sleepy equal to true. And now let's run our code, and let's see what happens. Well, now we finally put on pajamas. So what happened? Well, time is equal to night, and we're sleepy. Okay, so if statement. If time is equal to night, yes, and sleepy is true, also yes. So true and true. Okay, now the whole thing is true. And now we execute this code. So we put on pajamas. And now the value of pajamas is on rather than off. And so we print the value of pajamas here. Now, if we, for example, change this to an OR, then things change. So if we run the code again, and don't worry, we'll go through this OR. Let's just kind of see what happens first, and then I'll run you through it. So if we run the code again, if time is night, which it is, or sleepy is true, which it is, then pajamas is on. So time is night, yeah, or sleepy is true, yeah, so one of these two is true. That's what the OR does. The OR checks if one of the two is true, whereas the AND checks if both of them are true. So one of the two is true, so we put on pajamas. Now, let's make it night, but let's not be sleepy. Let's see what happens now. Remember, with the AND, we got that we don't have on pajamas. But with the OR, we're going to have our pajamas on. And that's because time is equal to night, and this is true. Or sleepy is true. Well, sleepy is false. But time is night, and that's what the OR statement does. So time is equal to night, yeah. Or sleepy is true, no, but time is equal to night. So we put on our pajamas. So we can also make it daytime, and we can make sleepy true, and we're still going to get the same answer. So now time is day, so time is equal to night, check. No, time is equal the value of time is day, so day is not equal to night. Okay, that's not true. Or sleepy is true. Well, the value sleepy is true, so true is true, yeah. So we're going to get this value here. So this value is true, which makes the whole thing true, because we have an OR here. So we put on our pajamas. Now, let's make time day, and let's make sleepy false. Now we finally don't have on pajamas anymore. And that's because if time is equal to night, well, no, time is equal to day, so day is not equal to night. Or sleepy is true, well, sleepy is false, so sleepy is not true. So we have, is time equal to night? No. Or is sleepy equal to true? No. So both of these are false. Now we don't execute this, because this isn't true, because neither of one of these is true, and we only need one of them true for the OR to be true. But since neither of these are true, we're not going to execute this. And so our pajamas are still off from before. So let's go through one more kind of example. Actually, let's kind of expand on this one. So let's say if it's nighttime or we're sleepy, then we put on pajamas. And then there are some different things that you can check. So if you want to check for multiple conditions, then you can also do, if this isn't true, you can also do an else if, it's called, but it's written short as elif. And so this keyword means if there is an if statement here, but it's not true, then else, if this is not true, then else, and then we check again for if. But the else ensures that we only check again for the if this isn't true. So let's check elif if it's morning, so if it's not night, or we're not sleepy, but the time is morning, and let's say we're in bed, so let's create another variable up here called in bed, and let's give this the value true. So we're going to see, well, if time is equal to morning and in bed equals true, actually, let's make this a little bit simpler. Let's take away these and statements again, and let's just keep it simple. Let's say if time is equal to night, we'll put on pajamas. If time is not night, but time is morning, then we put on pajamas too. Or then we still have on pajamas because we just woke up. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so let's just go through this. We don't have on pajamas because our value of time is day. So if time is equal to night, well no, our current time is day, so day is not equal to night. Well, this isn't true, so let's check. Well, else is time equal to morning because time is not equal to night, so else is time equal to morning. Well, no, time is day, so this doesn't execute either. So we just print off because our pajamas are off. But let's change our time to night. And let's print the value again, or let's run the code. So if time is equal to night, then we put on pajamas. Well, time is equal to night, so we put on pajamas. And now we're not going to execute this because this isn't, if we write this out again, this is an else if. But this is true, so there is no else. So we're not even going to go into this. So we're going to skip this whole thing because this thing here is true. So if time is night and pajamas are on, if time is night, then pajamas are on. And now we skip all of this because this is true here, and the else if only gets executed if the statement before wasn't true. But since the statement above was true and it got executed, we don't execute this. But we're still going to print that we have on pajamas. Now, let's make time be morning. And let's see what happens here. Well, if time is night, then we put on pajamas. Well, time is morning, so time is not night. But now we can do the else if statement. So this is false, but let's check. Otherwise, if time is morning, we'll also have on pajamas. So our if statement failed, but we still have our other else if, or the otherwise if. And then now we check, is time morning? Yeah. And then we put on pajamas. So this is why we have the pajamas is on. And now we also have the final version, which is the else. So this is, if everything above it fails, then this is the otherwise. So if everything else here is false, then we do this. So we'll just take off our pajama. If time is not night, or time is not morning, then pajamas are off. So let's just run this through again. Well, with time being morning, so if time is night, well, time is morning, so this is not true. So this doesn't get executed. Well, since this is not true, now we can execute the else if. So else if time is morning, yes, time is morning, pajamas are going to be on. And now, since we executed this, we don't have to execute the else because this one was true. So there is no otherwise because one of the statements here was true. So we skip this and we print that our pajamas are on. Now, let's say time is day, and well, just to kind of see what happens, let's make pajamas be unknown, and then let's just print the value of pajamas first, like so. So we're going to print the value of pajamas before we do everything, and then we're going to print it afterwards. And we change the value of pajamas to unknown, just to kind of see the change that happens. So, we start off, time is day, and pajamas is unknown. So we just print the value of pajamas. So we print unknown. Now, if time is equal to night, pajamas is on. Well, time is equal to day, so we don't do this. Well, since this statement is false, we can check with an otherwise if, or the else if, or the elif for short. So since this is false, we go into this. Well, is time morning? No, time is day. So we also don't execute this. And now since this is false, and this is false, which makes everything above the else false, we now execute the else. So since nothing above here was true, we do this otherwise. So we have our pajamas be off. So since it's neither morning nor night, our pajamas are no longer unknown. We now know we don't have pajamas on. And so we print the value of pajamas, and pajamas are off. And so this is kind of the three kind of checking conditions that you can have. If something is true, then you do it. And then else if the above statement isn't true, let's check for this. Else if everything, or else if everything above is is false, then we do this. So the else you can also kind of see as an otherwise. And so the else means that everything above it was false. So this is kind of the last option, or this is kind of the, if none of the special conditions above happened, then we do this.